Headed out to look at a job Monday morning. Hey Corey, how's it going?
Hey buddy, how are you?
Pretty good. I'm over here at this block. I was just wondering if you could text me Andy's phone number.
Yep.
And I'm going to let him know. I just wanted to ask you if there's any pollinizers out here or anything, or if every tree's...
No, there shouldn't be any pollinizers.
Okay. Everything inside the fence then gets grafted.
Yep.
Okay. I wanted to let him know that Rogelio can relax his pucker string a little bit because I drove back there and most of those trees are only going to take one graft. They're only big enough. They get pretty small on the back side, so they'll be half the price and he'll be twice as happy.
Of course. No, that's what I told him the other day. I said those smaller trees might get one. Yeah. And I think he's all right now, but you know how that goes.
Well, anyway, if you could text me maybe one of the guys' number, then I can, not have you in the middle of it. I can get their building address and stuff.
Yep, I'll send you both of them. And then one thing I'd like to do next time you're up in the hood, I'd like to catch you and go look at that lapping wood.
Okay. It's in
make
cold
sure
storage.
We're not screwing something up.
Hey, we can do that right now. I'm free if you are.
Oh, are you?
And I'm out here close by. It's over there at the same place where
the Northern CA. Yep, I'll meet you over there in just a few minutes.
Sounds good, Corey. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Well, I am at a cold storage facility. This is where they store the apples before they're packed and after they're packed and before they're shipped. And these are CA rooms, controlled atmosphere. I'm here to look at some graft wood. It's stored in, I believe, room 21, but I'm going to wait for Corey to get out here. Fairly large facility. There's 3 of these buildings, I think, in this one place that are the size of this one. Hold a lot of fruit. I didn't film inside that room because the fans make so much noise in there. You can't hear anything. Sometimes they designate one room to store trees for the growers. They're growers to keep them dormant until they can get the ground prepped in the spring, and then they come and get them and take them out to plant them. But the trees will stay dormant in that cold storage, and otherwise they would just start to sprout and then dry out before they got them in the ground. It's good to plant them when they're fully dormant. There's a bunch of apple bins over there shooting into the sun. That's a no-no. Comes some more apple bins. Talked about controlled atmosphere. They suck the oxygen out of those rooms, and that keeps the apples from rotting. Seal them up tight. And I think they may, I don't know if they shoot some kind of chemical in those rooms or not. I had a guy in California tell me one time he grew tomatoes, and they had vineyard as well. The company, the farming company, we grafted their vineyard, but he was telling me about their tomatoes, and they actually machine harvest them, so that'll tell you how green they have to be, because they just couldn't harvest them if they were ripe at all. So he told me they put them in these CA rooms, green tomatoes, and then they'll get a big order like Safeway or somebody will order, and they'll shoot the room with CO2 and it turns them red, and then they ship them out. So that's why you're trying to get my seatbelt fastened so this thing will stop dinging. Anyway, so that's why your tomatoes you get in the store in the wintertime taste like a piece of wood, because they're just green tomatoes that turned red. Thought that was kind of interesting. Well, I'm headed out to our next job. It's a nice little job. They're young trees, it'll be encouraging for the guys to have a nice job after that nasty thing they're on right now. But they took it real well. Old Victor Jr., he's just a prince of a guy. He said, we'll make it work. Well, I do believe spring has sprung. It's about 52 degrees or so out here. I wish I was not wearing this long sleeve shirt. And it is time to trade in this felt hat for a straw hat, I do believe. Although I know there's some parts of the country where certain people consider 52 degrees to be cold. But I'm about to burn up out here. Had some people who didn't care for the video I put up the other day about when Victor and I were in the office. And I know if you don't care anything about the human side of it, it would be very boring, and I don't blame you if you don't watch it. But there was a lot of people that really appreciate the insight, just to look behind the scenes of this business and getting to know Victor and my relationship with him, and what a great guy he is. And we're family, you know, so you get the whole deal. You get to work in the field and a little bit behind the scenes too, and how Victor and I interact. And, so there were some people that didn't like that, and there were some people that appreciated it. That's just the way it goes. I can't seem to make videos that please everybody. I'm trying to cut out some of this bigger wood. These trees we're doing here are pretty small, so trying to cut wood accordingly. I'm cutting the big end off of this stuff. Had a lot of people ask about where we get this wood, and the grower collects it. He goes to the neighboring orchard. Sometimes he'll have a neighbor that has the desired variety. And I think I mentioned one time that sometimes there's a royalty on it. Even though they go collect it, they pay the nursery a royalty for each tree that's grafted. And most people are pretty honest about that stuff. Back in the old days, there used to be people steal sign wood and that sort of thing. And there was a time where I don't even want to know what I was putting on. I just hired labor. But those days are pretty much gone with being able to test this wood, and they know exactly what it is and where it came from. These electric shears, these are Felco 800, and they're Swiss made, really good shears. I also use Felco's, the good Felco Swiss hand shears. They're just way superior to the Corona or Barnell or anything like that. But these guys, all the videos you saw me using these, maybe not on day one, but shortly after, I think. And they're still running on the same charge. I looked today, I started there down to 42%, so this battery is just outstanding. I've cut a lot of wood with it. There's some more boring info. Our people say, just deal with it. Just deal with it. I really do want to get into a little bit more interesting stuff. You've seen enough of this stuff, and I want to get into technique, and I was going to, and how to execute some of the techniques, and do a little more close-up video, at least of Victor working and putting in the grafts, or I'll put some in or whatever. But we have one job I was going to demonstrate the wedge graft, but I talked to Corey this morning and went over and looked at that wood at the cold storage I showed you. The wood that they collected was too small for the wedge graft technique. This wood is critical. The size has to be right for each technique. Now on these smaller trees we can use smaller wood, but when the diameter gets such that you cannot make that receiving slot in the side to accept the scion, we have to go to a different technique called a wedge graft. And I did a demonstration of that graft about 3 years ago, and it is on my other YouTube channel. It has had the most hits of all the videos I've ever put up. Well, while I've got some battery life left in my electric shears, I'm going to try and use those to cut down some trees. But I'm going to go over here on the back side of this field because the trees are smaller over there. Got a little bit weaker soil or something, and sometimes you'll see that. You'll see a streak through the orchard where the trees don't grow as well, and it's due to some sandy soil or just not as heavy as the rest of it, maybe. So I'm gonna start over there and see if I can use these shears, and if I need to, I'll go to the long handle loppers. I got a couple pair with me. As they get bigger, I might have to switch over. Those electric shears will only take a certain diameter, but they do pretty well, and sure makes it easy. But I gotta get out here and walk a little bit. I've got a disc all messed up my back. I've had one back surgery, and I've got a disc that's just about gone up in my middle back. And for some reason, sitting there cutting that wood, or even standing cutting that wood, I don't know why, but that just tears up my back. And you wouldn't think so. That looks like a real easy job. But man, I'd rather be out on a chainsaw. Chainsaw doesn't hurt me near as much as cutting that wood. But you know, getting old is not for sissies. I cut my conversation off this morning. I was talking to you guys after I left that CA room, and met the manager that takes care of this place. And it was kind of funny the other day when I came over here to book this. I came with Corey. Corey's the manager of a neighboring orchard that we do work for, and he doesn't manage this property, but he helps him out when he can. And he gave him some wood that he had left over from that job we did in the very beginning of the season down in Royal City. And so he gave him the wood and found him a grafter. And I'm the grafter because Corey knows that I know cherries. And these other grafters, they run and hide when you say cherries because they're pretty tough. But anyway, I came over here and met the owner and this Mexican guy that's manager here. They've made him a little bit of a partner in this thing just so he could take ownership and, you know, feel a part of it. And that's good, you know, that's great. And he does, because boy, when I gave him the price, I quoted him $3 on these trees because I thought we were going to put 2 grafts on. And why, you would have thought I just told him his dog died. Man, he was just beside himself. $3, oh my goodness. And boy, he was just looking at the owner, and the owner's not saying too much. He's just kind of smiling, you know, and he didn't have a lot to say, but he said, I'm this Mexican guy. He said, I know this guy. I got a guy. You know, they all got a guy for everything. I got a guy. He works over here at the nursery, and Vanwell Nursery. And well, so he claims he knows how to graft, and he probably can graft apples and do a great job, but he's not going to know what I know about grafting cherries and what kind of wood to use. So he said, I think he'd be cheaper. And I said, you go right ahead and hire him. That's not going to hurt my feelings at all. I got, you know, we got plenty of work. We're okay. So later on, I heard that, well, Corey told me that the owner had said to him, he said, well, I hope I didn't make Ken mad. Corey says, oh, no, you didn't. He said, I just wanted Rogelio to learn what things cost. And so he was doing that on purpose. He didn't say much. He just let Rogelio squawk about the price, and he let me tell him to go ahead and hire his buddy, you know, that's fine. And knowing all the while he was going to hire me. But this morning, when I met him on the road, he apologized. He said, you know, I was wrong about that. He said, you know, I talked to the guy, and he's going to charge me $2.50 and no guarantee. And if something happens, he's going to be in Mexico, and I can't find him. And so, no, I think we better have you do this. so that's what we're going to do. We're going to do this. But you heard that first conversation this morning where I was telling Corey that these trees over here are only going to take one graft, a lot of them. So they won't cost as much. But here's the thing. A new cherry tree, if you had to rip these out and replant them, if you couldn't find somebody that knows how to graft them, if you had to rip them out, a new cherry tree costs 12 to 14 bucks. And $3 is cheap, man, to get them worked over, have them producing in 2 years. If you plant new cherry trees, you're probably going to wait 5, plus the cost of taking these out and the cost of planting, the labor of putting a new one in. It costs you 14 bucks. It's just $3 is dirt cheap. So here we are. I'm gonna get out here and cut some trees down and let you guys just sit there and watch me work. Y'all don't help me a bit. All right. Okay, this is pretty hilarious. I'm back in here between the doors on my truck to try to keep the wind out of this video a little bit so I can tell this tale. But Victor Jr. takes his vacation every year and comes up and helps us. We raised him in this business, and he loves to come help us and for 2 weeks. So before I even booked his flight, I talked to him and I said, you know, I'm going to work you every minute you're here. We're going to work 7 days a week while you're here. And matter of fact, the last job will be up by the airport. And at the end of the day, you can just walk out the end of the row and get on your plane. And so at that time, I had not even booked this job, didn't know anything about it. Well, I want you to look where we're at. There's the fence. There's the airport runway right there. We are right at the end of the runway. So I'm going to tell him tomorrow that I'm going to cut a hole in that fence right there. He can just go aboard the plane while he's sitting there after he taxis out and he's getting ready to take off, and he's revving up the engine so you can go hop on the plane, Victor. So that's just hilarious how it worked out. We happened to be here. There's your plane, Victor.